Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next-level tactics. From off-site and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition.
Welcome back to the SEO.co podcast. This is part 3 of domain name valuations. Now that we know why domain name valuations matter and which factors impact these values, it's time to turn our attention to some of the different methods, equations, and techniques you can use to evaluate your domain name, or the one you're interested in purchasing. 1. Do a comparative analysis. The most helpful yet least scientific approach is to perform a comparative analysis. In other words, you research the data from recent sales to see what the marketplace is paying for certain domains. The challenge with this approach is that the data can be limited, and the correlating factors don't always carry over. A domain name that's similar to yours might sell for $25,000, but you don't always know why it sold for this much. Your domain name could be one character or TLD off, and it might only be worth $200. Comparative analyses can be useful in understanding the marketplace, but they aren't perfect. They give you a rough idea of general values, but can't be used to zero in on a specific dollar amount. 2. Try an algorithmic appraisal tool. Another option is to use a domain appraisal service. These services generally rely on a combination of algorithms and human analysis to determine a ballpark estimate of what your domain is worth. Estibot is the most commonly used appraisal service, and because of this, it's become a very real factor in domain transactions. It's the most authoritative voice on website valuations and can be used for additional leverage when buying or selling. One of the neat elements of the Estibot tool is how it will show you comparable domain sales and other advanced analytics. This allows you to see and understand why a domain name is being valued at a particular price point. Other good domain name valuation tools include Domain Index and Cedo. When using a service to determine a price for your website, it's a good idea to get as many valuations from as many different places as possible. Take the average of the three, and this should give you an informed number to work with. 3. Put your domain on the auction block. The third primary option is to put your domain name up for sale, based on the factors mentioned above. Set a starting price and minimum price. You might not sell your domain the first time around, but you'll learn a lot about the potential valuation based on the feedback. Did people bid? What do the listing analytics tell you? Did people favorite the listing? Did people complain that it was overpriced? If you're interested in selling at the moment but want to get a better idea of the market value for your website, you can always set a ridiculously high minimum and see what happens. Actual bids amount to concrete data, which enables you to properly estimate tangible worth, as opposed to theoretical values. Flippa.com is definitely one of the top auction sites for domain names, though there are a handful of others as well. We'd recommend starting with Flippa to see if you get any traction on their platform. 4. Hire a third-party appraisal service. Another option is to hire a third-party appraisal service. These are companies that specialize in appraising website domains. And while they may factor algorithmic appraisal tools into their calculations, they also use a combination of common-sense factors to determine fair market rates. Here are a few good services. SEO.co. Yep, that's right. We offer third-party appraisal services here at SEO.co. With an executive team that includes experienced valuation experts that have acquired and sold domains in the 7-figure range, we have the expertise to be that third-party appraisal team for your high-profile domain. If you'd like us to give your domain a look over and come up with an appraised value, we'd be happy to. Just reach out. Namecore. This company does a pretty intensive analysis and will actually give you 3 different values. This includes wholesale value, the value of the domain name to domain name investors, end user value, the value of the domain name to small businesses and developers, and brand value, the value of a domain name to a brand. Cedo. I mentioned Cedo earlier when talking about algorithmic tools, but they also rely on domain name experts to deliver a final value that's virtually guaranteed to be accurate and relevant based on the current state of the market. In today's SEO world, there's no such thing as buying Park Place and reaping massive returns without developing it out with great content and links. You might have $1 million raw domain name, but without great content, your domain's valuation will only be a fraction of its potential. At SEO.co, it's our mission to help businesses scale organic traffic by producing the highest quality content and links. If you're interested in growing your business with the help of strategic SEO and content marketing, we're here to help. Please contact us today and get your free site assessment. Thanks for listening to the SEO.co podcast.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.